Right. Thank you so much, Gunjan. And I really appreciate his valuable insight as an LP engineer. Today, I'd like to continue his discussion of generative AI by sharing something about a question and answering chatbot for wikis. Alrighty. So, why is it like that? I think I should probably share it with the whole screen. Okay. Alrighty. I'm not sure why it's not like full screen here. That's weird. Oh, here we go. All right. So, chatbots have really come to life in the past few months, right? But so we all know what ChatGPT is, and then soon enough, what do you call it? Bing Chat came up, and then my Microsoft alter ego's stocks went up a lot, and he was very happy about that. And then Google Bard came out, and it was really bad, and that made me even happier. So I'm so sorry. In all seriousness, we have these all new, mainstream solutions, which was really great. But there's a few things with them. They only search across the public internet, and not even all of it, actually. Bing was supposedly used for OpenAI to get their information from, and that's cool and all. But sometimes we don't want outside data in our data set, and other times the data of public wikis aren't even included, even though we want them. So because some wikis just have terrible SEO, and then they're just never shared, or they contain really bad information, and we don't want them to be on ChatGPT. And we also need a way to search private wikis as well. We can't just keep using these, general purpose, chatbots. So that's not a problem, though. We can do it ourselves. I'm going to just define a few terms first, and then I'll go on. So when we're referring to a context, that's just basically a text that we're going to search in for our answer. A question is going to be what the human asks for, and then the answer is the result that it provides based on the context. A class of models that we're going to be talking about today is called question answering models, and those are going to be designed to give human readable language to prompts. I've just been informed that I need to turn my camera off. Apparently some of you don't like to see me in a cowboy hat, but more importantly, you weren't able to see the full size of my PowerPoint. So, my Google slide. So my apologies for that. Last but not least, LLM is going to be an acronym that is used over and over and over again. It stands for large language model. So for instance, GPT is an LLM. I'm curious if anyone actually knows what GPT stands for. If you get it correct, just not get it correct. Don't look it up, but like put it in the hop-in chat. Just curious. And if you get it correct, I'll see. First round's on me. Sure. Yeah. We have like unlimited rounds tonight, but yeah, you had to take another round this tonight. Okay, cool. So it's really expensive though to train models from scratch. Gunjan was talking about how it costs like multi-millions of dollars, to do it. There's rumors that Microsoft is spending $700,000 a day just to run ChatGPT because Microsoft is the one providing in-kind support to OpenAI for that. But there's not really need to train models from scratch because you can use existing open source models easily available online, like the ones through Hugging Face. So we can try it out ourselves now. All you'll need is Python, pip, and a computer with decent processing power. But we can just use Google Colab instead. In fact, why don't we just start using that today? So I have this Colab thing, and what I'm going to do is I just have like a very simple set of, code here. I'm going to connect to a runtime, which is like the remote computer where I can run all this Python code from. And then I'm going to upload some files. Actually, just one file for today. This is some information we took from the MyWikis support panel. So I'm just going to quickly install the Hugging Face transformers package. And then once we have that, it'll install like the tokenizers, all that kind of stuff, and then we can, start to use that cool stuff. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask it a few questions. And what it's going to do is it's going to call the transformers model from Hugging Face. We're going to actually use this model to start with. Whoops, I don't want to cut it. I want to copy it. We're going to use this model to start with. So I'm just going to run it and ask if my wikis collects EUVAT, which is value added tax. So the first time we run it, we're going to have to download the QA model itself. So that's going to take a little bit longer, but essentially I can explain what this does. So the QA models that you see over here, and let me try to see if I can zoom in actually, because it's a little bit small. Yeah. The QA models that you see, the models that you see here, they're different models that different people have trained. Some of these models are seminal models that have been, very, very impactful in terms of research, but they're really slow. And so what people can do is they can optimize for a certain thing. You can reduce the amount of parameters or whatever that you use. And Gunjan, correct me if I'm wrong if you're still online. But yeah, you just reduce them and then it becomes a little faster to run. So in this case, we asked, does MyWikis collect EUVAT? And we asked Zypherhead, Electra Small Discriminator Fine-Tuned Squad. And it says, many EU clients have VAT numbers, making them VAT exempt. Okay, that does not really answer my question, does it? So I'm going to try using MRM 8488, Electra Small Fine-Tuned Squad V1. Let's try this again. You also might see like we have deep set Roberta base squad and Bert large and uncased whole word. Whenever I talk to those with Gunjan, he just says how crappy they are now. So I'm not even going to try it. And it's going to take like 10 minutes. Okay, but this model also gave that kind of answer. So not really what we're expecting here. But now let's move on to this question. What is the sales tax rate in Texas? This is what this is for MyWiki specifically. And it correctly puts out 6.6%. I know if you're a Texan, you'll know like, hey, isn't it 8.25%? Yes, but web hosting companies or data processing entities only have to collect 80% of the total sales rate, but they still pay the 8.25%. But that's effectively 6.6%. So we got it right, which is awesome. But then let's change it to do Texans have to pay sales tax? Because this is like a more complicated question that you're asking it, right? You've got about 5 seconds to answer. You don't have to pay taxes in most jurisdictions. Well, that's correct because we don't, like if we have like one customer from South Africa, we're not big enough to collect taxes from them. Well, I don't know about South Africa, but in the UK, we're exempted because of our size. But that doesn't answer the question, right? Actually, the correct answer is yes, Texans have to pay sales tax because we're a Texas-based company. So, legally we have to. So that doesn't really help us very much. It was a nice try, though. And the pitfalls of using these kinds of pre-built models out of the box is that the input size is limited. So the context and questions have to be kind of small. And you can't control the output size. So if I ask the question, it might just say like a few lines. Like I was kind of going for like, hey, can you tell me what exactly are the tax rates across the world? It would probably just say something like, oh yeah, 6.6% in Texas. That's it. That doesn't really help me out. And it's not really optimized for the content either, so it might not be fine-tuned for the speed. And what I mean by optimized for the content is that these pre-trained models are trained across everything. They're general purpose, right? So we want to optimize them for the specific content that we're searching among. That is the biggest thing here. So it's not fine-tuned for speed. A refined approach that we want to take is you want to first choose that you want the model for. You probably want to upload all your wiki documents to the QA bot in advance. And then when you're asking a question, a querying model will then determine which document has the most similar content of the question, and that document will be actually used as the context. So it's basically like a layer of like pre-filtering. It's like finding one page that will probably answer the question. And although this does not search across all pages, right, it cannot synthesize for multiple pages. It is, correct me if I'm wrong, Gunjan, but yeah, this really speeds things up a lot. And the querying model will then automatically be trained to understand the meaning of the documents. After you've found that document, you can then ask a question to a pre-trained LLM with prompt tuning to maximize the performance. And then that LLM will be automatically fine-tuned with instruction tuning on a set of questions that are automatically generated from the wiki documents. So let's try this again. This is going to be a beta version of our chat wiki implementation, which we announced on April 1st. So not an April Fool's joke now anymore, huh? It doesn't use Hugging Face's Transformers package. This is now a proprietary thing that we're using, but we're still going to demo it on Colab. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is, unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit of time to prep the requirements, but I'm just going to upload these files first. Wait, what's going on? This is new. Okay, that was weird. Yeah, let's upload these. Okay, so first I'm going to do pip install the requirements, and then once we've installed those requirements, I'm going to just import that package that we've our chatwiki package. And then once we do that, I'm going to have the QA agent be initialized. We're going to upload the documents to the QA agent that we're looking for. So in this case, we have 3 documents. We have one for migrating to MyWikis, like for customers who are, going to move to MyWikis. We have a document about what's the difference between mywikis.com versus mywikis.eu. And then we have a single sign-on question and answering page. So these are all on these pages are all on our help center. So they're pulled directly from helpcenter.mywikis.wiki. And so like you can see, like, this is the kind of page that we're looking for. So anyway, if we go back here, we can initialize this agent now. And then we can upload the documents to it. And finally, we can start asking questions. So the first one is, do you accept non-euro currencies of EU countries? Let's see what it says. MyWikis EU accepts payments in euros and pounds sterling and does not accept non-euro currencies of EU countries due to concerns about currency exchange conversion rates. Sure, yeah, it's actually another reason, but that's fine. What plans offer SSO support? SSO support is available for MyWikis' Quantum, Ultra, Corporate, and VPS plans. That's right. What can I do to make my migration smooth? That's a pretty open-ended question, right? And it'll probably have a lot of text. Our previous model would probably only provide like a sentence or two if we're lucky, but here it says, to make your migration smooth, follow the steps provided by MyWikis, including signing up for a new MyWikis wiki, filling out the migration form, blah, 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 and it even mentions our standard versus premium migration services, and then tells people, don't make any modifications to the database before sending it to MyWikis. We had a client that did not tell us that they blanked out their users table before sending it to us. And we were like, why isn't this migration working? They didn't tell us about it. And we're like, oh, thanks for nuking your database before sending it to us. That's why we added that there. Anyway, I'm not sure why it says the question again, but then we can ask, what's the difference between mywikis.com and MyWikis Europe? That's also an open-ended question. Give it about a few seconds. And then it says, yeah, there are 2 platforms that are offered by MyWikis, depending on the region of the world that you're based in. Both share some things, but the differences lie in the logistical factors, GDPR compliance, etc. So this is correct, actually. I'll vouch for it. And that makes the wiki, chat, what do you call it? Makes it accurate. So, yep, this is a demo of basically what Gunjan was kind of talking about. And this provides a foundation for future work that we can use to create chatbots, search wikis. I'll take any questions now. Thank you. Yes.
First of all, I may have missed this when I was coming in here, but the documents that you added, they were just exports from pages?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, so we just took the contents. Like if you edit the page and you just copy all the edit source content, that's all we really used. We might like, update a little bit of stuff here and there. But for the most part, it's going to be, what do you call it? Um, it's about the same, but like, like the formatting things on the syntax, right? So like, what's it called again? Like the equal signs for the section headers, those kinds of things. We need to do a little, maybe more to work on that because, when you're inputting it to a language model, it doesn't really differentiate between like bolded text and like header section, things like that. So probably a little bit more processing is needed for the work, but this was pretty much like a minimum viable product, or proof of concept, really, just to demonstrate out what the possibilities are. Yeah. Yes, your own.
How is this code structured? Does it live outside the wiki or is it connected to the MediaWiki code?
So your own's question is, how is this code structured? Does it live within MediaWiki or is it connected, or is it outside? So that's a great question. The way I'd put it is, the future intention is to probably have a MediaWiki extension that will put the interface on the wiki itself, right? You don't want to go to some other website to do it. You can just do it from the wiki directly. Perhaps you can even replace, Cirrus search, something like that, or supplement. I don't know. But the overall like code will probably most likely have to live in its own service because, in case you haven't noticed, Python is like the de facto language for AI. There's just no doing it in PHP. Sorry, everyone. So we have to run it independent of MediaWiki for that part. So most likely the front end would be MediaWiki on an extension, but the back end would have to be its own Python API. Yeah. And then Brian asked another question.
So if you wanted to provide answers for the full content of a wiki, and maybe the wiki is tens or hundreds of thousands of pages, I would assume you'd run into a token limit to try to just export all pages and feed it in an input prompt. So if there is a way to train on the full corpus of information, how do you handle revisions? Is there a way to kind of keep up to date? Is there a way to send kind of patches and then retrain after a certain amount of time, or changes are done to the wiki?
Yeah, so well, based on the second approach that we took, we would just, we don't look for all of it, right? So we're optimizing to like just hone in on one small context, so we don't really have to worry too much about retraining like that. We have tried training everything at once. It took forever and it doesn't work out too well. And then if you have revisions, yeah, good luck. So we have to kind of step away from those approaches because, wikis get edited so many times and it's just not feasible. If you make a revision, that takes like a second. You're not going to be able to have your model, reflect that revision that quickly. I don't believe. Gunjan can correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say it's just not worth it. So we definitely have to be creative in our approaches. Yeah. Simon Steyer asked, why did you ask the proprietary model different questions? Because I'm a very busy person and I don't have that much time to prepare presentations. I'm really sorry. I just wanted to give you something that was presentable. I mean, yeah, we can go back and ask the same questions to it and see how it performs, but it's not hard coded if that's what you're asking. I just don't want it to provide it like a question that it will mess up on because it's not fully ready yet. So it's a chatbot. I wanted to show you the nice part of it. If there's no further questions, I'm going to move on to the next topic. So thank you, and we'll be right back.